everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having a look at this CANchecked display. It's for essentially all the F80, F87, F30, F20 BMWs. Anyone with one of those will know, especially in the case of 140s and everything, that in terms of information to the driver, you're lucky if you get oil temperature. Other than that, it's pretty much just speed and revs. You don't get coolant temperature, you don't really get anything. So having an additional display, especially if you're tracking your car or it's tuned, or if you just want it to be quite cool, is a pretty handy feature. So this gauge sits in one of the dash vents and it'll essentially give you any information that is transmitted via the CANbus of the car. So that could be transmission temperature, coolant temperature, oil temperature, speed, exhaust gas temperatures. You could do data logging on it, you could do G meter, literally you name it. So what we're going to do is get this fitted to the car and then talk you through all the features. And if you'd like a quick look at it, it's quite a nice little bit of kit. So this is the display itself. So it comes with a 3D printed frame, so it essentially directly fits into the car. And then it's all touchscreen, and it comes with all the fitting parts. They're all plug and play, and they just intercept power and the CANbus. And that's really about it. It's nice and simple, but should be a really impressive bit of kit. It has loads of different modes. You can tailor it completely to what you want to display. So we'll have a good play with it, and then we'll show you what we've done to set it up and what it can do for you. We're about halfway through installation, just to show you a bit of what's involved. Firstly, everything's on a QR code in the instructions, so you just scan it and you've got a nice big PDF to go through. The main bit really that you need to do is just essentially feed wiring up from front control module, which is in the passenger footwell on one of these, up to the gauge itself. So that just involves drilling a hole in the bottom of there and feeding this wiring up. They suggest a 12mm hole, we actually found slightly bigger. Makes it a bit easier to feed that through. It's quite snug. But yeah, essentially we've just got these wires here. They'll clip into the back of this and then that'll be installed. That can all go back in and we just feed the wiring down to the passenger footwell where it'll be plugged into power and CANbus, and that's really about it. This USB cable is for plugging in, and you can reprogram various bits on the display or use it for anything you might want. So we'll leave that somewhere accessible as well. In the past with displays like this, I've always managed to feed it down into the glove box, which is quite nice, so I'll try and do the same, but I'll see what space I've got. This is a bit different to the kits I've used before, so I'll get cracking, and soon enough that should be in the car and up and running. Right, so wiring wise, it's all quite simple, it's just very fiddly to get to. Unfortunately, for right-hand drive cars, this module is obviously mounted this way round. For left-hand drive cars, it's flipped and on the other side. And the wiring connectors we need are on this side of it, on the far side. So for right-hand drive, this is quite fiddly and quite annoying because you've got the carpet trying to fight you the whole time. But it's all pretty simple. It's all plug and play. You just deep in CANbus, deep in power and ground, and then you get all the pre-terminated wires and connectors and everything from CANchecked that you essentially just tee into those bits. So that's all down here, which you can't really see, but these are the connectors for it. So that all just tucks away neatly under there, and then that feeds power up that to the display, and job done, and it's up and running. So I've just got to tidy all this up, put it all back away. Ours looks a little bit messy under here, as we've just discovered. This car's got presumably a tracker of some sort on it that I didn't know about. It's actually been done about 1,000 times better than every other tracker install I've ever seen. So that's not the end of the world. But yeah, just got to tidy it all back up, get all the trims back on, and then we're good to go with setting up. gauge in the car for a couple of months now, I think. You might notice that the weather is now obscenely hot. So it's been a little bit of time. Done a track day with it in the car and plenty of road driving. Had a good play around with it. It does take a little bit of setup work. There's a PC application, so we've hidden our cable down here. You just plug into it. It works out of the box, but to kind of tailor it properly to what you want, I'd advise plugging it into a laptop. You can also do loads of settings on the gauge itself, which is really quite good. But yeah, it's ideal. It does everything we want it to. We've configured it all, so we've got boost, and it'll keep a little handy reference of the maximum boost you've hit. So on our low boost map, we're getting 1.6 bar. On high boost, we're getting 2, sometimes 2.1. And then we've got oil pressure, intake temperature, and oil temperature. Oil temperature you can do on the dash. It's just quite nice having it all in one place. That's the screen we mainly use, but you have also got a load of other screens. We've got various different readings on this screen, including revs and whatnot, just as a different idea. To be honest, as far as we got really setting it up, performance meter seems to work quite well. It's sort of constantly running whenever you're on that screen. So if you're doing 100 to 200 times or something like that, it would give you a good idea, obviously based on the car's speedo, which we've got ours coded to be a true speed. And then you have a ton more screens, and all of these, all you've got to do is tap them, and then you can change what sensor you're reading from, change how it displays, warnings, everything, all really nice and easy. But yeah, as I say, there's loads of screens on here that I haven't even really used yet. But yeah, and there's some blank ones that you can set up however you like. You've also got the ability to check fault codes on here. To be honest, I haven't needed to use that, thankfully, but yeah, you've got sort of core setup-ish, bits like that, and then you can change your brightness and everything and do data logging here, which is very handy. It literally does everything. I don't think we've really delved that far into what it can do yet, and even then it's such a handy tool to have. So highly recommended. It's nice as well to see that oil pressure hasn't dropped at all on track, even in hard cornering and whatnot. So in short, very highly recommended. I know we've sold to quite a few customers already who, in all honesty, I think have got more time than us to start messing around with it, and they've managed to make some really good displays and screens that show as much information as you want, or as little information as you want. So we've got this display on our website now. So this fits a variety of F-series models, so including M3, M4, M2. CANchecked do a whole load of different displays for BMWs, going quite a way back, right up to the latest stuff. So even goes as far back as E30. But yeah, E46 M3, E92 M3, yeah, really powerful tool. And as well as that, CANchecked do displays for pretty much every make and model. Audi, Toyota, you name it. They do loads and loads of really cool displays, and universal 52mm gauge pod style gauges. So you have a round version of this that do everything. If you imagine this as a 90s Japanese car, you would literally have gauges over the entire dash to do the same as that one thing can do. So we can get all of it. There's no model that they do that we can't get. So even if you don't see yours listed, just give us a shout and we'll get you sorted. Yeah, really nice. Shows the power of CANbus. Yeah, really impressed with that CANchecked display.